What's up, Brandon, and welcome to the Blobbos Cap Guide. That's right, I'm going to be going over every single Blobbos in the Blobbos Cap format, and going to be going over every single little itty bitty thing that they can do, because I feel like it's really, really important for you to understand this format because it can be fun if you know all the gimmicks, but it can also be very confusing to learn, right? Since there's just a lot. The format is still adding Blobbos to this day. It's got a lot, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. That's kind of biased, but it's pretty cool. Instead of starting off with a form, though, we're actually going to start off with base Blobbos. Base Blobbos is bad. It's a bad Pokemon. It has a terrible typing. Just not good. All right. Its HP, defense, attack. It's meant to be a shitmon, as what we like to call those. So what can you do with it? Well, not much, but there is a certain thing that only this Pokemon can do. And well, actually, there's more Blobbos that can do this, but in Blobbos Cap, Blobbos can Mega Evolve into Mega Blobbos. This is probably the only thing you're going to ever be doing with Blobbos. We'll show Mega Blobbos. So, Blobbos Mega. What does it do? Well, its ability is Pure Power after you Mega Evolve it. That's its thing, Pure Power after Mega Evolving. Oh, wow. Uh, just know that Blobbos' move pool is okay. The main thing you're going to be wanting to be doing is using a fighting move, using some stab ice type move, which Blobby Bop is actually good as, a physical ice type move because 80 power, that's pretty good. Doesn't check accuracy, always hit. That's really good because Blobos doesn't get icicle crash, so that's what you're going to be using. It gets Stone Edge, it gets super power, and let's look at those stats. Pure power with these stats are actually really, really good. It's min maxed to the point where it has the most speed that it can get, while it has the most attack that it can get. Let's just see this for a second, right? Uh, as an example set, Stone Edge, Blah Bop, Superpower, Zen Headbutt. If you got your classic Jolly, max speed, max attack, you got 355 speed. That's pretty good. Like, that's faster than base 111s. That's faster than base 110s. That's good. That's a good speed stat for Blobbos Cap, right? And if you take a look at that attack stat, that is monstrous. That is disgusting. That is oof, right? The only problem about this Mega Evolution is that it gets bodied by priority moves. That's its only real thing that you have to worry about. Bubbles Cap loves its priority moves. Let me just tell you that right outright. So yeah, using this thing is very risky. You also have to commit to a mega slot. There are other megas that we'll be going over, but yeah, it's risky, but it'll be worth it. Uh, Actually, Blobbos has another thing that it can do. Ultra Blobbos. Blobbos Ultra is Blobbos if it holds an Ultra Blobbosium Z. It has Huobi Dragon, which is basically a Dragon Type 8 ability. And with Ultra Blobbosium Z, you can Ultra Burst and then use your Z move if you have Blubby Bob. The Z move is basically just an ice type light burn that burns the sky. It's very strong. It's just a nuke. Right? Its stats are literally Ultra Necrozma's, except 42 HP because the HP can't change when you're Ultra bursting. But it's still got decent bulk. It has amazing attack and special attack. It's pretty fast. The only problem is that it still has base Blobbos's attacking stats, or well, I should say move pool. That's which we've gone over. Isn't that great? It's okay. It has good moves like superpower, blah blah, as we said. For this one, you also get double edge or return, but it's not really that great. It's got like okay coverage. Ice plus rock type coverage is not really that good. Overall, it's pretty average. It's an average Pokemon, but It's one of the few Blobbos that get an Ultra move. Or Ultra move! Wow, I'm so smart. It gets a Z move. Z move, very useful. It's very, very useful. Just a big nuke on your opponents, right? Anyways, we have something that isn't really a Blobbos. It's like an added Blobbos. It's like a Blobbos, but it's not really a Blobbos. Can't believe this. We're going over this thing this soon. But yeah. Uh, A Blobbos. Any ability and an ability. An ability, no competitive use. Don't bother using it. Any ability, well, as it says, it's any ability. Becomes a random ability available in Clover on switching. It's pretty damn good, alright? Well, it's not really that good. It's very RNG based. But if you get the right ability, it can be very, very useful. Now, here's his A Blobbos' gimmick. Any attack, any heal, any setup, any status. The main thing with this Blobbos is that it doesn't have any consistent way of attacking. Instead, you have a metronome pool of, four things that it can choose from where it will just put any attack, any heal, any stat up, and any status. So with any attack, you can roll V create. With any heal, you can roll heal order. With any stat up, you can roll quiver dance. And with any status, you can roll glare. Let's just say that. So in technicality, you have an infinite move pool. Well, of course, after your healing or after all your PP is gone, you have a infinite thing. Um, is this Blobbos good? Well, it doesn't have any weaknesses, but it also doesn't have any resistances. It also doesn't get stab on anything other than, typeless type moves. But its stat spread is pretty good. You obviously might want to stat this thing pretty weirdly, but other than that, I think this Blobbos is pretty damn good. It's decent. It's solid. It's not that broken, but it's funny if you use it correctly, right? Because you don't have any consistent way of attacking, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. Anyways, wow, we're just getting into the really complicated gimmicks, aren't we? Blobbos Adventurer. So Blobbos Adventurer is funny. Wow, it's a pure normal type. Let's just look at its stats first. Bad. Well, not bad. They're okay. However, its main thing is on a quest. On a quest is one of the craziest gimmicks in Cab. Basically, anytime you switch in, there will be a prompt that tells you a quest that you can do. This can go from stalling a certain amount of turns, getting a KO, getting a certain amount of stat ups on yourself, right? It can range from that. If you complete that, you will go into its legendary form, which has a monstrous attack, like stat spread. Look at this. Please look at this. Blobbos Adventure. It is normal fighting. It has 105, 105, 105 bulk. It has 130 attack, 130 special attack, and 115 speed. And it has one of the best abilities in the game, which gives you 1.5 times damage on dark and dragon types. You cannot be statused. None of your stats can be lowered. Heroic Strike turns into a fucking stupid move. And on top of all that, you have a really good move pool. So, firstly, let's just look Heroic Strike. Ignores immunities. It's fighting type if it would be special, and it's also special if your special attack is higher than your physical attack. That's important, right? Heroic Onslaught is the same power, however, it's fighting type. It does everything that heroic Strike does, except it hits twice. It's stupid. But that also comes at the cost of, actually having to get to this form, which is not easy. If you get a bad quest and you're not able to complete it, you have a pretty bad Pokemon. So, Adventure can be a waste of a slot or not. However, it has a very interesting way of healing. Drink Potion. It has +1 priority, and you heal 20% for each dose. Each dose means PP. It tries to minimize the amount of PP that you use. So if you're at 79%, it'll only use one dose. If you're at 60%, it'll use 2 doses. If you're at 40%, it will use 3 doses. If you're like at 1 HP or at 2 HP, it will use all of your doses, so you have no more healing. Pretty cool move. It lets you have longevity. It's not broken, but it's really good. It's pretty good. It lets adventurer do more. It's like, if it didn't have drink potion, it would be way worse than it is. But it is a really good Pokemon. If you ever get adventure legendary and your opponent can't break it, yeah, that's an amazing Pokemon. Next up is Alola. Oh boy, do I have a story with Alola. So Alola in the past was a Steel Fairy type with a stupid stat spread. It caused so much controversy. Not anymore though. It's a Fairy Ice type, and it's not terrible. Obviously, if you look at these stats, it is an Ultra Beast. It has prime numbers, 570 base stat total, and it also has Beast Boost. Alola's gimmick, if we look here, it gets every single move that was introduced in Generation 7, and that is the only moves that it gets. Nothing else. Except Blobbos. It shouldn't have that. Ignore that. But yes, it only gets moves that were introduced in Gen 7. We will be seeing this in the future. Keep this in mind. The main thing you want to do with Alola is obviously, Scarf or Specs it. It has Beast Boost. You can adjust your EVs for speed to be higher than special attack while you still have good special attack with Specs. You don't have that good coverage against fire type or steel types. You don't have good coverage against steel types if you're running special, which you're probably going to do because its attack stat is only 71. Your best steel coverage is like, oof, it's mind blown. It's mind blown. That's your special coverage, because you can't use burn up. That's just for flavor. That's just a Gen 7 move. Moongeist Beam, I guess. If you're funny though, you use Mind Blown, because Mind Blown is a pretty funny move. Yeah, Alola is really good. It's not the fastest in the world in terms of cab, but 101 isn't bad. It's not bad at all. This mon is pretty decent, and I do very much recommend it if you just want like a Scarfer. This is a good Scarfer, in my opinion, honestly. Next up, who's next on the chopping block? We got Angel. Angel's a weird one. Angel, ignore this ability. Ignore that item if you get the reference. Thank you. You're not going to be using Symbiosis as a healer ever, probably. Natural Cure and Triage is your bread and butter. Angel's main thing is being a support mon. It's pretty fast and has amazing HP. That HP is going to be used when you're using Heaven's Blessing, which is just Wish plus also a heal. It's a burst of 25% max of healing, and then the next turn Wish activates. So you can do this to heal your own Blobbos Angel and then switch out into something else and give them that sweet 150 HP Wish. That's all this thing does. It doesn't have any setup. It doesn't get Work Up. It doesn't get Nasty Plot. It doesn't get Calm Mind. It doesn't get any of that. No, it's just a pure support mon realistically. That's all it's really going to be doing. You can be funny and run Specs Focus Blast with Shadow Ball. Don't do that though. I am telling you, do not do that. It also gets Roost if you're not like 100%. It also gets Regular Wish. I don't know why you would ever use Regular Wish when Heaven's Blessing is literally better Wish. But sure. It gets Tailwind, it gets Pivot, it gets Teleport and U-Turn. So pick your poison. It gets Shadow Ball. It gets Revelation Dance. It's just like a stronger Shadow Ball, One of the best support mons. It has Defog as well, so yeah. Its only real drawback is being a ghost type, and knockoff is very prevalent. It's one of those mons where it has a lot of HP but no defense, no like real defense to back up that HP. But You gotta balance something somehow, right? But anyways, Angel's pretty good. If you want like a good, support mon, there's your guy. Arceus is fucked up, right? So Arceus, if you look at its stats, it's basically, Blobbos plus Arceus stats, right? The HP is Blobbos' HP, 120 minus Blobbos' HP, 78. Basically, Arceus has infinite coverage. Look at all that. It basically gets every single move that Arceus gets. Every single move that Arceus gets, plus then some. It has amazing coverage, and Blubbo type is literally works exactly like a multi-type. So you can, which is interesting on this because Blubbo's Arceus is Ice Normal. This means you can change that normal type to be anything you want. You can be Ice Electric, you can be Ice Ghost, you can be Ice Fighting, you can be Ice Steel, you can be Ice Water, you can be Ice Ice. You can actually be Ice Ice and have double stab judgment. That is disgusting. Obviously you'll be quad weak to, everything that Ice is weak to, but God, if this thing lives in attack, something is dead. Well, maybe not dead. Something won't like what's about to happen to them. Just know Blobbos Arceus also can do E-Killer. Sword Stance Extreme Speed. It can do that. Is this one of the best Blobbos? Yes. Should you use it for like a beginner? For a beginner, this is like one of the best beginner Pokemon. Or one of the beginner Blobbos for you to use because it is absolutely wild. It is wild. It is wild how good this thing is. Anyways, that's all I really need to say about that guy. Next up, we got Artify. So Artify looks pretty phallic. Don't worry about that. Artify has Download, Vital Spirit, Intimidate, and Multiscale. All of these are useful. Vital Spirit less so. However, Artify gets something very cool. It's a Ghost Dragon type, which is a very unique type in Cab. Not a lot of things get it, or not a lot of things would ever be conceived to have that type. But Artify gets something really interesting. It gets Spook Sneak, which is basically Spook Out, which is a Fake Out clone, and also gets Shadow Sneak, which is crazy, right? What the set that I've seen most with Artify that works is Banded. You run max attack, max HP. Its stats really do warrant you to just invest in attack. I mean, you can also run bulky. This thing does get recover and multi-scale, so you can run, a special defensive set. It's probably not recommended since, it doesn't get bulk up, it doesn't get sword stance, it doesn't get really any good, setup, but it's one of the best ghost types in terms of damage, because if you banded download this thing and your opponent doesn't have a switch in, Spook Out does so much damage. This is coming from experience, not from using it, but from fighting it. So yeah, a very crazy Pokemon. That's all I really need to say about it. Artist, this is gonna be quick. This is your Sketchmon. It gets every single move. That's all I really need to say. But Artist is a very interesting ability. So let's say you use, a ghost type move. If you use a ghost type move on your opponent, they will change into a ghost type after that move is done. So it basically changes he's changing your type, right? That's basically what he's doing. He's changing your type every single time. That's probably your best ability. Blobbos Artist is a Sketchmon, so it gets literally every single move available. Is he good? Well, I haven't really used him that much, but he's just like Smeargle in the fact that, stats are pretty bad, but the fact that he gets every single move in the game is kind of funny. He's a normal question mark type, and I think that's funny as well. Blobbos Athlete, oh boy. Blobbos Athlete has Guts, Quick Feet, or Break. Now, while Guts is probably better than Quick Feet, I like using Quick Feet because it's really funny. Blobbos Athlete has a very special sick move, and that's Void Flex. It protects yourself, it poisons you, and it raises your accuracy. So that works really well with Guts, and that works really well with Guts and Quick Feet. Blobbos Athlete also gets Bolt Strike. It also gets no guard, or sorry, no retreat, and also it's one of the fastest Blobbos. It's very fast. It's very good. Like, oof, it's one of the fastest gut users in the game. It is insane. Fighting electric is amazing. Physically, like it's just an amazing type combo, offensively. So, do I recommend this mod? Yes, absolutely. If you use Roid Flex and use like Life Orb, that's gonna be a lot of life taking out of you. But it doesn't fucking matter when you kill your opponent. Yeah, Athlete is an amazing mon. Definitely recommend using it. Next up is Tourney, penultimate Blobbos. So Blobbos Tourney doesn't really have any special signature item or ability. It gets 3 signature moves. It gets Objection, which has a 20% chance to make the target flinch, 90% accuracy, 100 power. With these stats, yeah, it's good. So I'll say right here, these stats are not amazing. They're kind of like jack of all trade. But they can be like, I mean, you can scarf it. You can scarf it. It doesn't get any real like speed boosting, but it does get scrappy. So I mean, hitting ghost types is pretty nice. It also gets heal order. It gets heal order. I mean, that's good recovery. Like, this thing definitely has the moves to be good. So I mean, I really feel like this thing has a lot of potential. It also gets power trip. I don't like so it gets defend order. It gets power trip. It gets that's kind of it. Damn, it doesn't get bulk up. I feel like I should give this thing bulk up. Do you feel like that? Like, well, right now, Blobbos Attorney isn't like. I still think it's not like amazing, but I don't think it's terrible. Like, its other signature thing is Hold It, which heals you by a massive amount, with the only cost is that you taunt yourself. So this is like a really like burst heal, when you just need it like for something else. Like, oh shit, this thing is like doing like more damage than it would if I was going to be using heal order. Hold It lets you Hold It lets you get that extra burst of healing. It also taunts yourself, which is not the bad part about it, but honestly, still not that bad. Take That is evil. This is why this Pokemon is good. Like, I was wondering, like, I remember there being a reason why this guy is good. Yeah, Take That is stupid move. You trap your opponent, and you also confuse them, so they can't just switch out to get rid of that confusion. Confusion is not reliable at all, but God, it is funny. God, if Take That, statused your opponent, and then it also prevented you from switching out, that would be better, but that would be like really toxic. But yeah, Blobbos Attorney has 3 pretty awesome signature moves that maybe you don't want to use all of them in one move set, which is probably like not ideal, but using one of them is like very much recommended. Finally, we have Blobbos Alien. Blobbos Alien is a psychic question mark type. Tinted Lens, Levitate, Bulletproof, and Synchronize. So let's talk about its signature moves. Abduction is an amazing pivot move. You go last. So what it does is that you go last. When you attack your opponent switches out into a random Pokemon, and then you are able to pick what you switch out into. It lets you counter team what is being switched into. So while it's the cost of, you're going last, it's a neutral, like it's a typeless move. It's a typeless move, so nothing is immune to it. Nothing can counter it at all. Nothing resists it. And you also just C-team whatever is going to go in on the field. So you can bring out like something that setups on, something that's weak to it. You just get a free setup. Yeah, that's one of the best moves in the game, honestly. We'll see another move similar to it But its next thing is Xeno Beam, which makes the opponent typeless. Just to remove stab so you can run it more bulky. This is what it's mainly supposed to do. What Alien is supposed to do is remove your stab, be bulky, and also be able to do a lot of damage in the process. You remove their stab, and then maybe they want to switch out. Then you use abduction, so then they are forced to switch out again, and then you can see team what they want to go into. And then if they switch into something else, you can just pivot out back into Alien and do the same thing again. It has 95 bulk, 95 speed, and 115 special attack. This is one of the best psychic types in the game, and probably not the best one, since I'm thinking if there's another one that's better than this, but yeah, these two signature moves along with the coverage that it gets, one of the best Blobbos. I definitely recommend this as like a beginner Blobbos because, you know, it's just got like a good stat line and also it's got good power as well. That's going to be doing it for every single A Blobbos. I cannot wait for B. It's going to be very, very long. But yeah, I love talking about Blobbos. I love talking about their viability. I love talking, just telling you guys what you got to use for these guys because this format is pretty confusing. Anyways, I'll see y'all. Hopefully this helped. In the description, you'll find the cab server. Only join it if you like dealing with crackheads because oh my god, those are some fucking crackheads. Sorry if you know you're watching this and you're in that server, but yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, Brandon.